Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Pepijn van den Berg. I'm here today with Myoki van den Heuvel. And just a quick introduction of myself. I have a practice for natural health and for stress and trauma recovery. And I'm also a guest writer on Myoki's blog. So I'm so happy that Myoki wanted to be here today with me. Not blogging, but vlogging. How's that? And in English.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we are Dutch, so sometimes we're going to have trouble finding some words, but we'll do our best for our English-speaking friends. So, yeah, and today we would like to talk about something that's very near to our hearts. And in my case, because I work with stress and trauma, and we live in very stressful times, we believe. And you can see I have a graph on my desk. So, and this is the graph of the Polyvagal theory. And Myoki also would like to talk about this subject, because what we would like to give some inspiration, give some thoughts about coming back to safety, coming back to connection, and that's why we love to see each other face to face. So, Myoki, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to let the viewers know that this graph will be under the vlog, or...
Yeah, I will post it in the description how you can find it. It's the Polyvagal theory by Stephen Porges. And we find it very easy because of the coloring, the green, the red, the blue, to see where you are. Are you grounded? Are you in your sympathetic state, which is are you fearful? Are you in a panic? Do you feel angry? Or are you in the blue state, which is the free state? So do you feel shut down? Do you feel depressed? So we know from our experience, we know where we are. Sometimes we feel grounded, sometimes we get really angry, and sometimes we feel rather sad or numb. We don't know at least sometimes don't know what to do. And I think instead of being stuck in a sympathetic state or in a free state, I think it's very important to come back to being grounded, to come back to feeling connection, to come back to safety. And that's why I wanted to do this conversation, to inspire people to find that again, because that's what we are. We are wired for connection. And so we are coming back from a very isolated state, and for you, Myoki, I know that it was you were very isolated. Can you talk about that? How was it for you to feel like that?
It was such a difficult question. When you mean isolated as living alone,
that's the first thought.
Then
yeah.
Yes, isolated. Although I don't feel isolated because I'm used to living alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a problem. I did feel that I missed the connections I had.
Mm-hmm.
That's an entirely different question.
Yeah.
But I love being on my own.
Mm-hmm.
It's way more of a challenge to share my house or to share my space with somebody else. I also don't have any trouble to live on my own square meter.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes me longer to get out.
Yeah.
I have to, it takes more energy to get myself out of the square meter.
Yeah, yeah.
And get back into the world and get back into the play and get back into the connection with other people.
Yeah, yeah. You really have to make an effort.
I have to make an effort. Because even as a child, I was used to be on my own square meter. So for me, it's not a punishment.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the situation we're in globally. It's for me. It feels more natural.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it doesn't mean, although it feels natural, that you're not in a sympathetic state of fear or anger.
No.
You can also feel the numbness, because the world nowadays, when you live alone, or it doesn't mean that the world doesn't come into your house.
And the world comes in hard.
Yeah.
Like a tidal wave, whop.
Yeah, so I think it's also very important to have a boundary, your boundary set. What do you let in? All this, are you being overwhelmed by things? How do you deal with that? What were your tools to deal with overwhelming information, overwhelming feelings?
I was really shocked and really fearful when our Prime Minister came on the television telling us about that there was a virus going on, that we needed to be in our houses, that we were going to be locked up. So at first I was scared of this virus thing, and not much was known at that point, and we're talking about 14 months ago or something. And for me, coming out of a life-threatening situation and having to face another one, or possible another one, in form of this virus, that was fearful. I was really scared. So,
yeah.
And then the measures came, and the measures became more erratic. In my perception, it became more and more erratic. And then I started having doubts. So what is going on here? And then the fear for the virus was gone, but the fear for what the lockdown and what the measures were doing to our society were all part of became way more. Then I had for the virus. I would think, oh my goodness, what is going on here? What are they doing?
Yeah.
And that was a really scary part, and they became more and more erratic month after month.
Yeah. So you feel this information comes into your home where you feel safe, and then the initial fear is gone.
Yep.
But then you are scared, or no, not scared. You are angry. Perhaps concerned with things, and then so how do you feel? Because now we want to come back to feel, come back into this grounded state, as it were. So how do you cope with it right now in this?
I think it's a fascinating, or it has been a fascinating process, this 14 months. Like I said, first there was this fear for this virus, and it's like fear of, it's a very basic fear. Every human has fear of dying.
Yeah.
And that's what they tapped into with their language. Not just for me, but I think for a whole group of people.
Yeah.
And then I became more fearful for the measures and for what they were doing and for what was going on in society, which we all make society.
Yeah.
So I dove in that bit. I threw my television out because I've had enough information.
Yeah.
It's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
But there still was coming information from all kind of social media channels. And I decided, well, I want to follow some, and the rest, and I leave the rest because too much information.
Yeah.
And by that time, when we're talking about the measures and society as a whole, I became fearful for what is going on. We will not go back to normal. All that kind of language. But it also made me angry. Like, what are you doing to all of those people, making or putting them in a state of fear? What are you doing? Who are you that you can do this to other people? That really made me angry. So I had to find ways to release the anger.
Yeah.
And anger can be destructive.
Yeah.
With the help of nasty language or propaganda language.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my ways or my tools of getting rid of the pressure cooker is going outside, getting in touch with nature, getting in touch with my dogs, create, dance, move, write, everything to get me out of this state and back to a state of connection with myself, to be able to have a nice connection with other people. Although you miss information, because at the first month it was through Zoom and telephone and apps and social media.
Yeah.
And you miss information as well. It's totally different when you need a device to connect with somebody else than when you see each other face to face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a big difference.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think everybody needs to be aware or find the tools in themselves to step back or to go back from a state of fight, flight, to get back.
Yeah.
And one of the tools is connection.
Yeah.
And also creation. And I don't mean creation with nasty language and or fights and that kind of stuff, but I really mean creation in the sense of making things. Drawing, writing, whatever it is you like doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because or singing or whatever, because it all has to do with the body. Whether you're walking, whether you're dancing, whether you're singing, whether you are writing, it's all about releasing and creating in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's needed.
Yeah.
To keep some kind of balance. Because on the other hand, the tidal wave keeps coming.
It does.
So you need a very strong antidote, and you have to take care of that yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Yeah. 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 It's true.
So it's a learning curve.
It is a learning curve. Yes, it is. So...
Yeah. And it's also getting in touch with your language, and not just the language you use towards others. When you're here, you have the words are connection and love. But it's also about the words you're using internally for yourself. Are you bitchy toward yourself, or can you be acceptance? Acceptance toward yourself. Acceptance when you're angry. Can you accept it when you're sad? Can you accept it when you are depressed? Maybe. Yeah, but humans are made to. They want pleasure. and it's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
To do just the opposite, to say no, I'm not going to run away from all those feelings I don't rather have.
Mm-hmm.
And to turn it around and say, okay, I'm going to sit beside you and wait, because every feeling comes up and it goes down, goes up and it goes down.
Yeah. So in that sense, this is also a period you can grow, a growth period.
I think it can be a period of personal growth for everybody, if you want to see it that way.
Yeah, if you want to see it that way. Mm-hmm.
And that's a choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can stay within your anger, or you can stay within your freeze, or but it's not working.
No, no.
It's unhealthy for you. It's unhealthy for your environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's time to find your own language. It's time to find your own ways to get back. And that's, I think, growth. I think that is what is called personal growth.
Yeah, it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
when we see this time as a way of personal growth, and finding our creativity again, and finding our words, and finding loving connection, and in our own little way. Huh?
Yeah, we're all little drops, but all those little drops together in connection, we have an ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful.
And if it's an ocean, you can sweep away everything you don't want to have.
Yeah, it sounds very cleansing, an ocean.
It is.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to get back to connection is, I use the shower, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in the shower in the morning, I can imagine that everything that's not mine, or every big piece of anger or worry or whatever it is,
Flushes away.
Flushes away.
Yeah.
Just flush away.
Oh.
And the water's coming flush down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a nice way to start the day.
Yeah.
At least it is for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do the same thing. I do these things all day long. First thing in the shower, flushing away all the things all the things you don't want to have, and then ground myself, have a nice breakfast, and not tap into all the information outside, but just come back to center first, start your day, and it's great. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love this this theory, because you can because it's about you, and it can be personal, but it can also be you can also see it in society ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the same with language. You can use the language to communicate with the other person.
Yeah.
But it's also, language is also how you communicate with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it has, I think this theory and also the use of language has such a depth.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's, the words are look simple.
Yeah.
But it's, I think it's a learning curve as well.
Yeah. 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 And also to find where you are on the curve. Do you feel safe? Are you in fight or flight mode, or are you in freeze mode? And sometimes it feels like you don't have a choice. But there's always a choice to come back down. First you have to be aware of where you are, and then you can deactivate and come back down to connection and safety.
Yep.
I think that's all very, to being aware of that is quite a step one for me.
Yeah, and I also think it's important that it's actually a body graph.
It is. It's about the vagus nerve. Yeah.
So all your stress, all your anxiety, all your anger or sadness or worry, biological.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So we talk about the chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, and also the organs, your bowels.
Do not talk to me about balls. Oh my goodness.
Also react to stress, of course. Yeah.
Yes, they all have, even everybody's bowels have their own nervous system as well that is communicating.
Yeah.
And as most people know, I have problems with my bowels for a very long time. And so when it gets stressed, boom.
You feel it immediately.
Immediately. I do not feel the stress as much, but I do feel my bowels and they're reacting.
Yeah. So you know where you are in that.
I know where I am, and I know when I get here, and everybody gets here every once in a while, I need somebody else to get me back.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have and to keep the connections you have.
Yeah.
And access to the connections you have, which is also important.
Very important.
Yeah.
So talking about that, that's why we wanted to have this conversation, to come back together, have this conversation, feel the connection, deactivate our nervous system, co-regulate, and it's beautiful.
Having a human life is amazing.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
And whatever rules or regulations, you're always free.
You're always free. Yeah. And we love to be free as Aquarians, don't we?
I do. Well, it's absolutely important to feel free.
Yeah. You can always feel free.
If you want to.
Where you are.
If you want to.
Yeah. Do you see it as a choice?
Is it a choice to feel free? Yeah, maybe it is. Because when we started this conversation about my square meter, I feel free.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody else might feel locked up, or not happy, or isolated, or whatever. For me, it's freedom.
Yeah.
Because freedom is not just out, but freedom is in.
Yeah.
It's not being free from, it's being free in. Like all those rules and regulations as well, you can feel locked up, or locked up in your house, or whatever you feel locked up in. But you can also be free from. Within your own square meter, you can be free.
Yeah.
When I write or when I can create in my own way, I feel free. Not a worry in the world.
Yeah.
And I think it is a choice because when we had this measure coming, this curfew thing that you cannot go out after 9 o'clock in the evening, at first I felt put in a corner, like cramp. Geez, I can't go out whenever I want anymore. So that felt very unfree until I realized I have a dog, so I can go out after 9 o'clock. But also, I don't go out after 9 o'clock in the evening, not before this curfew. So it was really was a learning curve as well. Like, it feels cramped, But in actuality, in the present, in this state, I'm still free.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I never felt backed up in a corner before.
No.
So it's something that is done in your head.
Yeah.
And it's done with language.
Yeah.
And it's a language of fear. And it's a language, repeated messages.
Yeah.
This propaganda.
Mm-hmm. So, talking about choices, choosing to be free and choosing to turn off the television, turn off the radio, and not
turning off social media.
Constantly have this repetitive sentences thrown at you. So being free, choose what you want to hear, listen to music, listen to inspirational conversations. That's what I would like to invite everybody also to do, to feel, to have a choice what comes into your precious system and what gives you joy, what gives you energy, what makes you feel safe, what makes you want to smile, so that your system come back to life.
Yeah, because I think that's why human life is so precious. You're not here to survive, you're here to thrive.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, well, that's true. And if you are stuck in flight, fight, or in a freeze, or in a depression, you're not thriving, you're surviving.
No. Yeah.
Which is sad, because when you look very closely, the world is a beautiful place to be.
It's so beautiful.
I'm not saying it's easy.
No.
Not always.
No.
But it's a beautiful place to see if you know where to look.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there's beauty in everything.
And also in the ugliness.
That's true.
Like there is freedom in captivity. And you cannot be free if there are no boundaries.
Yeah. Can you explain that?
Well, if a house needs walls. So you can be free within your house or within your home.
Yeah.
So freedom thrives with boundaries. And it depends where those boundaries are and whether you choose to be free or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they're telling me you cannot go to an event or to a football match or into a cafe or into a restaurant, I don't care. I really don't mind. Because I didn't do that before.
Yeah.
So that's not something I will miss. If they would discourage me from going to healthcare, that would be a disaster. That would affect me.
Yeah, yeah.
But if they would prohibit me from going to a football match, I don't care. No, and still, it is my mindset. And if I start thinking about not being able to go into healthcare, the energy goes up.
Yeah.
And I have to take care that I not get here, because then I need somebody else to bring the energy back down again.
Yeah.
Because if you're in this state,
in the freeze,
you need somebody else to get you out.
Yeah.
To bring you back slowly. And as long as I'm here and I'm speaking for myself, then I can go back myself.
Yeah.
But when I get here, I need somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the difference. So, plus, when you get here, it's just not okay for your body.
No.
It's not okay for your whole energetic system.
No. No. You shut off, basically.
Yeah, shut off, shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very beautifully put.
Don't shut down.
No.
Just keep the flow flowing.
Yeah. And we celebrate that.
Let's celebrate life.
Let's celebrate life. Yeah. So let's close off with that.
Absolutely.
So I want to really thank you for this beautiful conversation. I hope it inspired you. And, well, let's do it another time.
Absolutely. I know the subject.
Oh!
Thank you for
Great.
having me.
Yeah. So see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Till next time. Bye.